Welcome to another 5 Minute Friday with Tricia Barlow and RealEZtech. This week, I am absolutely thrilled to be joined by Dennis Wong. Dennis, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. This is super exciting.
Oh, I'm delighted. Okay, so background story. Dennis Wong is now the Associate Sales Manager in Long Island, New York. But Dennis and I met first when we were national calls, right? With Compass agents, and we were presenting together. We had never met before. Anyway, we just clicked. We got on really well, and so things have moved on since then. But I am so thrilled to have you here.
I know we came together serendipitously. I think you were doing the instruction, I was the backup, and I think I was just spot filling for the day. And when you click with somebody, you're like, oh, we're meshing together. We riff off each other really well, and we don't step on each other's toes. That's really hard to do from a virtual platform. And so I'm super grateful to have met you. And I know that you're not officially with Compass right now, but you are supporting our agents. You're still involved in the community. So thank you for the work that you do. A little bit about me. I am an associate sales manager. I don't know if I think it's on Long Island is the appropriate.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't know.
It's one of those very nuanced local things. It's like, you're going to hear about it. Now I'm not Long Island native. So there you go. But I support the Long Island market, and I've been in the role since last spring. Before that, I worked on the operations side of Compass in the agent experience team. And then I had a stint in our HR department at Compass as well. So little different hats that I've worn throughout my career, but I really love what I do today. So it's been super exciting.
That's so funny. I was actually going to ask you, how did you actually end up in real estate itself? I want to loop back to the HR thing because I think that's very interesting. We'll talk about that later. But definitely, what was your journey into real estate like? How did you end up here?
Everybody has a story in how they got into real estate. Mine was accidental, right? My background consisted of technology, a couple different startups. Apple was one of those background experiences that I had. I was an assistant manager at Trader Joe's before this. And so a good friend of mine tapped me on the shoulder and introduced me to Compass. I didn't love houses. I love the idea of entrepreneurship. So the idea of Compass for me, of helping small business owners and now oftentimes large business owners operate their business, improve their processes, getting the best experience, that was the thing that I gravitated towards. And slowly but surely, I've been learning much more about the housing market, the different drivers in our space, in our industry. So that's become fascinating over time. But, similar to a lot of folks, a little bit accidental. Everyone's got a cool background story before real estate.
Absolutely. But I have to say, the HR thing threw me. Tell me about that.
Wait, the what now?
The HR, human resources.
HR?
HR. That's my Irish accent, Dennis. Human resources.
Oh, got it. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, there you go, slagging off the Irish.
Okay, I'm back on track now. I got you. I got to take a trip over there and learn the lingo. My background on the P&C team, people and culture, HR. I worked on the back end communications and our DEI initiatives, a little bit of philanthropy, but my focus was on operations, helping that team with a various amount of initiatives, just trying to be the kind of oil tied to it. So similar to when I worked on the agent experience side, my background has been always an operator, and I've loved still being kind of front and center with whatever client I'm serving. So I was the one who was kind of helping with just some back end stuff. You might not see me on a presentation. I might be setting up the Zoom calls. I might be focusing on getting all the communications lined up and then in front of the right people. Professional nudger is a title that I've had, nudging people to get stuff done.
Hilarious. But that makes a lot of sense because you are a tech guru, and just very quickly, because you're a tech guru and because you've done so well in Compass, can you just tell us a little bit about, if you were talking to someone who was starting out in Compass today, and you're now an associate sales manager, which is phenomenal. What do you think, or what sort of journey should they be looking at? Where should they be concentrating? How do you get where you are now? This would be great insight for anybody starting in Compass now.
I think in any career, in any business, it's solving problems. Like Compass has come such a far way since it started. I mean, we're over 10 years, we're a publicly traded company, but there's still so much opportunity out there and so many things to continue to solve. So if I'm new to Compass, if I am a new agent in Compass, if I'm looking to build my business anywhere, it's what are the problems that exist out there and how can I potentially be able to help solve them? That's really it. And to not go too far off the path, work with the great leaders that we have in our business to prioritize and make sure that the problems you're solving match what the business is looking for.
Exactly. Make sure they're meaningful, right?
Hey, I learned that from experience. I've gone on tangential problems, so to speak, and everyone's like, that's not an issue. Like, that's not important. And so, but I had to learn that from experience to know what's more important day to day, right? We've got a lot of things going on in our industry, and I love geeking out on tech stuff all the time, but sometimes there's more pressing issues. And I know we'll probably touch on some of those national items in our industry, but that's where it kind of reconciles the two items.
Yeah, no, that's really great advice. Keep the head down, work smart, and make yourself, I guess, meaningful in everything that you do, and make sure that you're just putting the agents first, and you got it, right?
Even more than that, there's a lot that's don't assume that things have been solved. Don't assume that what you see as that problem, that there's necessarily a solution on deck at this point. There's still so much that we can do in this company. So don't be afraid to raise your hand and say, hey, is this being tended to? How can I support this? Like that's what opens up really cool conversations. You meet really cool people that way, first and foremost.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. And Compass embrace that. Some companies don't at all stay in your track, but Compass totally embraces, bring me your ideas, let's see how they work, and let's run with it. So absolutely, you're dead on. So for me, I want to touch on your inspiration. What is your why? What makes you get out of bed every morning? And, you know, this is all about you, Dennis. I love finding out all these things. So
yeah. I mean, my inspiration is my family, right? It's, yes, there's the work component, but it's the why we do the work. I love the work that I do at Compass, but the purpose behind it is to get to spend time with my family. I get to invest into meeting my son. He is 20 months old, and he is the joy of my life. In addition to my wife, of course, like as a family unit, that's something that, truth be told, I'm not sure if that was going to happen in my life. And the fact that I'm at this stage, I'm so thankful. Like I treasure every moment. For those who get that opportunity, I feel you. I love it too. For those who don't, hey, I wish the best. And it's not for everybody, but this has been such an unexpected joy in my life. I loved every minute of being a father, being a parent, being a husband. So
that is so gorgeous, Dennis. I have to say, I like you more now. You're even cooler in my books now. That's really nice. I love that. But I'm going to shift lanes a little and get a little serious with you. So I know you're working with a lot of agents and you're helping them navigate the whole NAR settlement. So what are your ideas on the buyer representation? How do you feel agents are feeling about it? And what's your advice to them?
I work with most of the agents directly or indirectly on Long Island. So you're going to get a range of emotions as people process these changes. There's a lot of noise, and the goal of kind of filtering the signals versus the noise is focusing on your clients first. Like all these changes in the industry are because, personal opinion probably, is that we may have lost focus as an industry on who we serve and for what purpose we serve them. So if our customer, meaning the Compass agent, if their commitment is to provide the best experiences to their buyers and sellers, to ensure that they give clear explanations as to things like compensation, things like the process, that's going to ensure that the folks who are on those deals, the buyers and sellers, are going to feel appreciated. They're going to feel they get the service that they deserve, and it is worth the amount that they are investing into it from a cost perspective. It sounds simple. Obviously, there's so many moving pieces. There's mechanics, there's new forms, there's contracts, there's all these implications that people are kind of nervous to step on that wrong crack, if you will. But if our customers, if the agents just focus first and foremost on the best interest of the clients they represent, and that is clear, the rest are going to be the details that play out from there. Again, a lot of still training to go from there, a lot of webinars that we are hosting as a company, and I know other brokerages are doing it to ensure that agents are prepared for changes. But that spirit, that intent, that focal point is where I think it needs to start. And that's where we recommit to improving and making the industry what we know it to be. We know we work with some of the best practitioners, the best people in professional services. And we're here to make sure that the general public understands that as well.
So do you feel that this settlement is actually going to improve the industry and its reputation?
I think that's the goal, and I think it will. I think the real purpose here is to improve the customer's experience, improve an understanding of who's working with them and what are the responsibilities that an agent has towards their client. And that gives then the agent clarity of how to execute. So I think this is really focused on improving the industry as a whole. And it really starts with that mindset. If you perceive this to be a change that stinks, that you have to go through, that's no fun, it will be just that. If you perceive it as an opportunity to recommit, to show your clients why you might be different, to show what you bring to the table, to articulate that, then it's going to be exactly that, right? Like, we get to control that experience. People look towards real estate professionals for guidance, for advice, for industry knowledge, to know how these transactions work. I've only bought a house once in my life. I only plan on buying a house once or twice more potentially. So I don't know, if I'm not in this industry, I don't know how the process works. I want to go talk to an expert. And this is going to give our agents a chance to showcase why they are the expert and validate why the consumers made a phenomenal choice to work with them.
I love that. I love that. And I think you're 100% right. A lot of people's perception is how things are going to be. And exactly, if you approach it positively, you're going to have a positive, as you say, there's plenty of states that are already doing this with, and this isn't making a big jump or leap for them. So, it's just a change. It's
going to be okay, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing I'd like to also touch on that you mentioned is the support everybody's getting from their brokerages, not just Compass, who I know are really, really intent on making sure all agents are fully prepared. I mean, you have so many lines of support. I mean, from your agent experience to your associate sales manager, to your sales manager, to your regional manager. Like, there's so many people supporting you on this and making sure that you're comfortable.
Absolutely. And you have both the technical side of things, you have the messaging, you have the marketing, you have the real estate compliance piece. We're ensuring that, once you step out on, let's say August 17th is that day where things go quote unquote live, that you have the tools, the talk tracks, the understanding of what you need to do. And I think that's going to be it's going to be exciting because it's going to be a chance for them to show what they've learned in this process. There's a lot to digest and unpack, but at the end of the day, they're not doing it alone. And I hope that the agents understand that. We are here to support you. I am enthusiastic about learning about these items so that our agents can also feel confident to that mindset piece. So they're not in alone. And I know that in the real estate industry, it can sometimes be a lonely business, or so I've heard from our customer base. But part of the idea of having a culture, a community, and one that is nationally based is that you do have resources, you have people, you have folks to commiserate on a tough day, you have people to celebrate the wins, and you have camaraderie to be able to work through this together. That's the one thing that I love about, at least what I know Compass is doing. So.
No, you're absolutely right. No, all brokerages are doing it. You can only speak from your own perspective, which I know is incredible. Aside from the NAR, I'm going to ask you for a little pro tip for agents, how they can improve their outreach, improve their business. What have you seen that really works best?
Oh my goodness. There's so many things that an agent can do to drive their business. You go to any coaching school, they're going to have great suggestions. You go to one sales manager versus the next, they're going to have different suggestions. I think I have two things for you. One, get on the phone, start connecting with people. From there, opportunities, conversations arise. You need to start creating that energy. And two, you got to do that or whatever you are doing in lieu of it with consistency. If you don't do those items, you will not get enough experiences to know how to adjust and to know if what you are doing is working. So it sounds like, I know everyone looks for the silver bullet of like, it's this tool or it's this exact thing, but really the tool is doing the thing longer and harder than others, doing it with more consistency and getting better over time. It's something I try to practice and preach in my business. As much as I've been a techie person, finding all these cool tips and tricks, the things that last for me are the things that I do with consistency, daily, weekly, do it with repetition so I continue getting better.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to add to that. Anything you do with consistency becomes second nature and you don't feel forced. So that's very important on the whole, do it consistently. You're not going to go, oh my God, I have to call so-and-so. I'm so nervous. It's like, oh yeah, let's go. Or, your scripts even, like practice those. I mean, anything done consistently brings confidence, and that I think is really key.
Now to the phone piece, I know people get really nervous about like picking up the phone. And I come from a generation where I'll say texting is more quote unquote the norm. Think about it. It's not about you. Okay. So if I'm going to pick up the phone and call Tricia and say, hey, I'd love to set up blah, 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 or how have you been? My interest is not what am I getting out of this? My focus is on what's going on in Tricia's life. How can I support? How can I serve? And if that's the mentality when you call, there should be no guilt about calling somebody out of the blue. There should be no reason you feel bad or nervous about calling somebody if it's truly in their interest, right? That's my goal. I'm not trying to convert you as a buyer or a seller. I'm not trying to understand when you're looking to list. I'm not looking for referrals. I'm looking to have a conversation to catch up with somebody like yourself who I truly enjoy our company. And from there, like I said, the more conversations you have, the things pop up. You're a professional in real estate. People know you as such. The things will start happening, but have those conversations.
Yeah, I love it. I really do. And I am actually going to reach into your geeky side right now, if you
Uh-oh.
don't mind, Dennis. So you are a Compass platform. You know that platform inside out. You said, what is your pro tip for people using the platform?
I'm sure
What's
we've
your
had
favorite
this
tool?
conversation before, but my number one is collections. Collections is my coolest tool. I love using it to track the market. I use it to collaborate with my other agents. It's what I love about it as a tool. One, it's the analytics, it's the sleek nature of it all. Like we've coined it the Pinterest of real estate at times, but really it's the way that agents have taken this intended use for buyer need, narrowing down the sales funnel, but they use it in such creative ways. It's when you just have a set of properties relevant to a client, the use cases are endless because the spirit of it is, sell side collection to watch comps. It's going to be a pre-CMA. It's going to be version 1 of our client portal, which, I don't know if we're going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about that officially, but I know that's something in the works. The idea is that we're creating these workspaces to let our clients, the agents, and their clients, the consumer, have conversations around real estate. And it creates it in a really visually engaging way, conversational, and it really allows our agents to understand what's important to their clients, when to reach out, and really make informed decisions. So I'm a collections fanatic.
I'm excited to see all this. This sounds great.
I'm sure you'll get some sneak previews to be able to support some of the folks you work with.
I
Super.
sure hope so. But yeah, I do love collections, and I totally agree with you. It is very, very versatile. So we are actually obviously always way over my 5 minutes. Sorry, guys, but that's what you get with me. I'm always going to chat. And
Whoopsies.
I'm just going to put your contact details down there, Dennis. If anybody's looking to reach out to you, all the Long Island agents, they already know Dennis. You can get Dennis on denniswong@compass.com, and his phone number's there. And all that's left for me to say is thank you so much. I hope you'll come and join me again, because I think we've got a lot more to, digest and chat about. I think we'll always have something to chat about. And
Agree.
I just wish you every success in the world. I'm so delighted for you and with the way things are going.
To be continued. And thank you so much for having me. Till next time.
Till next time.